Southern Vangard Radio. This is DJ John Doe, and right in front of me in that little bitty computer screen is my man.
Cappuccino, what up?
Cappuccino me.
Must be Sunday night.
It is there, Bubba.
Yeah, man. Here we go.
How are
again.
you, dude? How are you, man?
I'm good, homie. What's happening?
What were you drinking just right then? Anything special in that cup?
I'm just a ice cold hams.
Cheers,
That's
by the
all.
way.
Cheers, brother.
Cheers. I hope our guest isn't drinking alcohol right now. Give him what
Nah,
he's
that
doing.
would not be cool.
But anyway, we'll get into that in a little bit.
Yeah, we'll catch up with him in a minute. Yeah, nah, that would not be cool at all. I don't advise that at all.
Hope Obi's drinking some I don't know, Perrier or something, or I don't know, some water. I don't know, something.
Some good tap water.
Some good.
Hell yeah.
Oh man, how are you, my dude?
I'm good, man. Happy to be here.
Everything all
ready
right?
to get it. Yeah, ready to get the night in full effect mode.
Yeah. How was your week? Everything all right?
Yeah, week was long, man.
It was long, wasn't it?
First full week of 2021. It was a motherfucker. So
yeah, it really was.
I was happy. I was happy about Friday, and I've been thoroughly enjoying my weekend, and I get the extra day tomorrow, so I'm gonna enjoy the hell out of that too.
Yes, sir.
So I'm good, man.
Yeah, man. They battening down the hatches downtown Atlanta right now. We were just talking about that earlier.
Man, I hope they go in there and ransack my job for real. Looking forward to it.
Now, Meeks, you said they wanted you to stand in the parking lot with a BB gun. Is that what I heard?
I don't know what they expect out of me, but I'm not going to protect shit except for myself, and I can do that from the comforts of my own home.
Word.
So there you are. And I'm not security.
No doubt. No doubt, man. All
Shit,
right.
I can't keep the homeless people from shitting and pissing outside the building. What makes you think I can keep a motherfucker from burning the motherfucker down if they want to?
Right? Yeah.
And I wouldn't. So
right.
You still got to pay me regardless. So we're good, man.
One, I'm not going to do it, and two,
shit.
that's what insurance is for.
Exactly. Exactly. So
the motherfucker
whatever.
probably needs to be burned down anyway, right, Meeks? I think that's what
I'm tired of fixing on that motherfucker. I would have never bought the fucking crack house in the first place, to tell you the truth. But it wasn't my money. I wasn't there when they made that decision, and I really don't care. Maybe y'all could tell by the tone of my voice.
Boy,
I don't give a.
Yeah, Meek's attitude is just fucking awful right now. God,
yeah,
come on
it's
now.
bad.
Take a deep breath. We need to do it.
Yeah.
We need to do some breathing exercises before we start.
Woosah, and all that, man. What's up, homie?
Word. Not much.
What
man.
we doing tonight?
We're doing some rap shit. Let's just fucking get into it. Real quick. I'd be remiss if we did not say something about this. Rest in peace to the one and only Scorsese.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Who passed at the end of this past week.
Yeah.
We did not know that brother for very long. We actually just had him and the homie Griff on. Jason Griff. Yeah. What was that? 2 or 3 months ago, Meek? Something like that.
I believe so. Yeah. That's unfortunate, man.
It's super unfortunate. We were just getting familiar with those guys and their music. And, we had them on for a mix interview, actually. I can't remember what episode it was. But just some good dudes and good energy, and just really unfortunate development and circumstance. So our condolences to his family and his friends. I don't know if there's a fundraiser up yet or anything like that. But once we find out if there is, we'll be posting that. Make sure
we'll
you
talk
guys
about it, let everybody know.
are aware of that. He's a family man. I think he left 2 or 3 kids and his wife. And, pretty young dude too, I believe, right, Meeks? And is early to mid 40s, I believe, something like that.
Yeah, super young, man.
Super young. So,
too young.
Yeah, too young. So, keep Scorsese's family and friends in your, in your prayers, or whatever you deem appropriate for things like that. And we'll be getting into we'll definitely get into a Scorsese joint or two on episode 270. We're 277 this week, Meeks. Is that right?
277.
Yeah. So anywho, that said, this is Southern Vangard Radio. This is the first time you're listening. Welcome. We drop twice a week on Tuesdays. It's a mix show, all brand new hip hop, cut up, sliced up. Meeks and I talking to just a bunch of awful shit and drinking a little something, usually here and there. And, on Thursdays, we have an interview session with an MC or DJ or some sort of creative or a business-oriented person, perhaps like A&R, folk or something for our interview sessions on Thursday. So make sure you follow on all the platforms. Please, please, please subscribe or follow, and please leave a review if you can, especially on Apple Podcasts. Basically, any podcast platform that you listen to, we're on. Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, Mixcloud, SoundCloud, and YouTube. We actually our YouTube following is actually getting pretty decent.
That's what's up.
And a lot of people listen to music and interviews and whatever, and just have that shit going on, going in the background. So follow us over on YouTube as well. And it's Southern Vangard everywhere, basically, without the U. And Mix, we have some affiliates that help us get out the word as well.
Yes, atlhiphop.com. I am classicrawradio.net. Return of the BoomBap, WRBB, X Squad Radio, X Squad affiliates, all those in Atlanta. And then we venture out to the West Coast with Soul Public Radio, Cali.
All right.
Yeah.
So Meeks, you threw me off when we picked up the phone with this gentleman earlier, because I do not know the story behind the image that popped up. When this gentleman called in, this is an interview that's over a month in the making. We were supposed to interview him at the end of 2020 around the release of his new album. And, a set of circumstances, twice thwarted the interview. So we're glad to be here with this gentleman. Dropped one of 2020's dopest projects, in my opinion. I'm just getting familiar with this cat because he's been putting out music for a long time. And Meeks, you and I didn't get familiar with him until, I guess, a project that dropped in 2019, Tony PENA.
Yeah.
So,
that.
we're late. Like he's homies with a bunch of our friends, like, the good homie Jay Sands. We just never connected and just never got familiar with his brother's music. So anyway, looking forward to talking to this gentleman tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Hubs.
Hey, what's good? What's good?
Hey, man, what's the deal?
Everything is peace, man. Everything is lovely, man. Appreciate y'all having me on. I'm glad to finally get connected. I know we had some, we had some difficulties making it happen, but I'm glad we finally did, man. You know what I mean? So much respect, much love to the South.
Yes, sir. You spent some time down here, don't you? You got family down here or friends down here in Atlanta or
yeah,
no?
Yeah. My man, Pablo Neruda, who's actually on the track 2/5. He lives in Atlanta right now. And then also Big Jerm. Shout out to Big Jerm. He mixed the album. He now works out of Atlanta. He's from Pittsburgh too.
Oh,
he's down there. My brother went to Morehouse back in the early 90s.
Okay.
I had some Atlanta ties. My best friend I grew up with, actually, he moved down to Atlanta. So I mean, there's a bunch of people that migrate. I feel like everybody moved to Atlanta for real, but a lot of Pittsburgh people definitely took that trek down to Atlanta over the time. So shout out to Atlanta. Always love to Atlanta. Just not the Braves though. We don't rock with the Braves.
Of course you don't.
You could blame Sid Green. Blame the traitor. Sid Green.
Well, Hubs, you'll be happy to know
we barely rock with the Braves. I dance.
Right. Well, Hubs, you'll be happy to know that Meeks here is a lifelong Steelers fan. So
No doubt.
you guys will get together along, swimmingly.
Word up. Okay. Word up. Shout out to the Steelers. Hey, they just disappointed us though. Like the Steelers kind of went out.
It was kind of suspect to begin with, but then, once everything got exposed, I kind of knew where that was headed. So I just didn't think they was going to go out like that. That shit was all bad from the first snap.
It was written. It might have been written, man. You know what I mean? Like I'm not afraid to say that, man. It may have all been written. Sometimes the stars align and things start laying out a little bit differently.
Yep, for sure.
So Hubs, tell us about the album, man. I mean, we played a few joints off of it. I think the single for sure, Coattails. Speaking of Big Jerm.
Shout out to Big Jerm.
Yeah. But talk to us about the album. I guess the reception. It's been almost out 2 months now.
Yeah, something like that. Been 2-3 months. About 2-3 months.
Yeah. Tell the folks about the project, man.
So L. Ron Hubs. So first and foremost, man, the title. A lot of people be asking me about the title and like where I'm going with it and the symbolism and whatnot. Hubs, obviously, my rap name was incorporated into the title, but my family name has been Hubbard. So people all my life would always make the connection as like a joking matter. It's like, yo, L. Ron Hubbard. L. Ron. And there was a couple raps where I threw that shit in over the years. L. Ron Hubs. I would just say this shit. I think I said it when I was up on with PF Cutting. I kind of put that out there as like a precursor to where I was possibly going to take it. But L. Ron Hubs, man, it's kind of just me just doing what I do creatively. And what I would say is kind of rewiring a lot of the dark imprints that's on this planet that we live on, man. Like as somebody who, I like to create in the context of light. And so, in that there's elements of truth that I feel need to be illuminated. And for this project, I just really wanted to put my best interpretations of truth as I see it and put it into creative form in a way that was relatable to people as well. And not some shit that was like, super out there beyond, but relatable, but still enough to pull you out of your comfort zone. And that was the whole point of it. So with the title, it was a flip on, L. Ron Hubbard, with the, he does the Scientology. I mentioned I turned it into the Liontology, on some Leo shit.
Yeah.
With,
okay.
I just flip everything. Obviously I turned the L to EL, just to bring the spiritual element into it. And then, Hubs again is just me putting my name into it just to keep everything, fresh and stylish with it, or just the metaphors and whatnot, the wordplay and all that. So, but then as far as the content, I knew if I was going to take it there and really, make that be the title and have L in it and whatnot, I knew that this album had to be special as far as the content, and it had to be something that people could process levels of truth within, and be inspired by and be moved by, through the light that I represented myself as. And I would say, it really pushed a lot of boundaries. But for me, I guess since I took my time with this, I kind of let it all come to me, and I just kind of watched the timing play out itself, and I just kind of like inserted myself where I needed to insert myself in my own creative process. Like things just came to my mind when they needed to come to it. So I went, just recorded. I didn't think about it too much. Like we laid the whole shit out, and it was like 12 days or something like that. Like it was silly. Like I just went to the lab and did a song every day. And
oh really?
So it was done. Sent it out to Big Jerm. I had a couple tracks that I released earlier this year that was going to be on the joint, but I just decided to just start fresh, right in the mind frame that I was at that specific, place. So, but as far as the content, I wanted to mix the spiritual, the science, like the cosmic, the metaphysical, and then a lot of the ground, the governmental, political aspects of things. Because from my interpretation, it seems that that's where a lot of the confusion in this planet exists. And it's a willfully chosen confusion because the truth is oftentimes right in our face. And sometimes it just requires artists to step up and represent that truth and put it, maybe illuminate it a little bit brighter in people's face. But the truth is always in our face. You know what I mean? And I just allowed myself to be a vessel of that and just said, hey, whatever comes with this, it comes with it. I know it's for the good of people. Whether this, hits you a certain way or if it's over your head, I know it's eventually going to touch everyone in a way that is going to work together for good. So
I was just about to ask, Dubs, do you feel like your personal truth, what it is that you're trying to bring to the table, is could be deemed relatable to the masses out here, or is it some of this stuff gonna go over their heads and they're gonna have to kind of do some homework and figure it out for themselves?
For sure. Now, here, let me say this. I'll say it is relatable. If there's truth, then it's relatable because we're all born in light, and we all are of that. It may be deep buried down in your consciousness somewhere, buried under the fog that we've normalized like our whole life. But I'm speaking really to people's spirits, man, and people hear me, like whether they process it in their mind or not. Like it's what I do. I believe that music is a very spiritual thing, and I always do things within the spirit of Christ. Not even on the religious aspect, but just like the inner Christ, man, your inner light. And so, like, when I'm doing that, I know that I'm speaking to people and they can hear me. They may understand what I'm talking about. It may be, 5 years later. You know what I'm saying? Like, but at the end of the day, I planted the seed to where there's an opportunity for it to be illuminated in their brain. The other part of it, I'm an artist, so I leave a lot for interpretation. I don't like to really spell out my art, so to speak. I feel like that takes away from your art. I feel like people are supposed to get the answers in the way that your art touches their spirit. They may get the answers and be like, yo, they may see something in the middle of the day and say, damn, that's that shit Hubs was talking about on his album. Right. You may not have got it directly when I said it on the album, but the fact that it's in your spirit now, you're going to get signs of that in your atmosphere now because it's done in the spirit of truth. It's not done for me. It's not done for the glory to me. It's not done for people to look at me and praise me. And like, I'm like Jim Carrey. Like I see things in that perspective. Like it's real quantum and just like, I don't believe we exist in the way that we think we exist. And I'm very in tune with my spirit and, I just follow where my spirit takes me, you know what I'm saying? On behalf of what is good. That's it. I just leave it at that. And then I let the feedback be what it is. People seem to be, receiving it well.
Hubs,
that's all that I could hope for.
Where does that awareness come from? Is it something you were taught eventually over the years from family or friends, or did you have someone that, helped you be in tune with yourself like that? Where does that come from?
I mean, the glory is always to the Most High, man, on that, because there's a synchronicity that comes with that when you're connected to that. I feel like, it illuminates your purpose inside of you so that you can connect to the truths of this world and the truths of yourself that pulls that out of you to where maybe you elevate your spirit higher than where the status quo is at, because, that might just be what your purpose to be. And if you surrender to that, then it'll become that. But I attribute everything to the Most High. Obviously, I thank my parents who were very culturally in tune people. They're very spiritually in tune people, but also just humble people who was willing to learn and be students of life and always willing to understand their shortcomings and that there was always more to learn and there's always more answers out there. Like my family has always moved like that, and that allows us to be students of life, and that's where it allows you to just kind of take life as it is, man, and find meaning in it and purpose in it. I studied a lot. I mean, I went to college and whatnot. I studied psychology and sociology and all that. But over time, I just started to see a lot of those things as just matrix-based elements, man. But there were things that served a purpose in shaping my perspective of this world. And I've been through a lot. I've been through hell and back, man. You know what I'm saying? I've been through a lot. And when you really just embrace that as life itself, you learn from it and you become wise in it, man, and you rise. And that's what I attribute to, but it can only be done through the Most High. Like that's always where the glory is for me.
Dope.
Gotcha. Yeah, I definitely felt like you were on. I mean, when I saw the artwork for the first single, which was Coattails, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we talked about it a little bit. For those of you who don't know, Coattails was the first single off L. Ron Hubbs, and has a picture of Mitch McConnell and the Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron on the front of it, with Mitch's eyes with Mitch's eyes X'd out. And when I saw it, it hit me. It hit me one way, and then I told Hubbs it kind of hit me another way too, because I'm from Kentucky. And like, every time I, and actually, I mean, this is a really weird, not really a fun fact, but this is a fact. And Meeks, I don't even know if you know this or not, but my first serious, like, long-term girlfriend at Western, I went to Western Kentucky University, Hubbs. In Bowling Green.
I got recruited by them. They recruited me. Shout out to Western Kentucky.
Oh,
they recruited
word?
me for basketball. I probably should have went there. They recruited me since 9th grade, and I always downplayed
shit.
I wanted to
That's
go to
crazy.
Kentucky. I wanted to go to the big Kentucky, but I was like a entitled. My head was big back then. Like, I probably should have just went to Western Kentucky.
Damn,
that's why we're connecting right now. We're probably connecting right now because of Western Kentucky recruiting me back.
Wow.
But go ahead.
Probably so. No, yeah, it's very true. But anyway, my so this young lady that I dated in college, I was a sophomore, she was a senior, and we met on some music shit, like through the radio station, right? The college radio station. This is mid-90s, and mid to late 90s. And she actually got a job, she got an internship almost directly out of college, working for Mitch McConnell's office in D.C.
That's crazy.
Meeks, have I ever told you this story?
Nah, I didn't. You don't talk too much about your women, man. I kind of wish I was the same way, but I never heard that story, man.
Yeah. So anyway, so I actually, she went away, like she went to DC, and of course we tried to do the long distance relationship thing, and that shit fell flat on its face. You know how that goes. But there were actually a few times where I went to DC, to visit her, and it was so interesting to see her, like, I mean, of course you're going to change she was from a small town in Kentucky called London, and which is Eastern Kentucky, actually. And very similar to the town I grew up in, which is, it's small, lower to middle class, basically. And it was so interesting to see her get wrapped up in that shit in DC, like, so quickly, man. Of course you're going to change as a person, like, when you move and you go experience new things. But it was just like all of a sudden politics were completely ruling this girl's life. And I'm like, what in the fuck is going on right now? It was so...
I was about to say, it didn't take long at all, did it?
It was so... Dude, it happened in a snap. So Hubs, when I saw that picture of the cover, I was just like... I started laughing to myself, like, out loud. I was just like, oh, God, what is this motherfucker coming with on this joint? You know what I mean? So
anyway. I'll say... The cover, all the covers I do are really just symbolism. Because my belief is that everything in this life that we are looking at all times is a symbol of what is, some higher implication. And as an artist, it's my job to illuminate that. So it's never literal. Like that cover for Coattails, like it doesn't even matter that it was Mitch. It could have been, anybody. I just felt that was a nice illumination because of the current events that was going on at the time, and that's really all it was. You notice, I wasn't talking about Mitch or that judge in the track, so it was just it's just imagery to really draw the point. And the main takeaway is, we're all our own entities in this life, man, and we've been taught through this land that we've lived on, and a lot of the systems that run through this land we lived on that we've subscribed to in ways over time, one way or another. They try to redirect us from that. You know what I'm saying? Like everything's a symbol and they try to redirect us from that. So it's my job to illuminate that for people and bring it to the ground. So, With that, my bad, I lost my train of thought. But with that specific song and imagery, I wanted to illuminate the fact that we're all our own entities. And at the end of the day, in this country, quote unquote country, I'll call it, they teach us to kind of ride the coattails of, and at the end of the day, the government. And this is a corporation. It's a corporate situation, man. And when you approaching things in that perspective, in a corporate manner, the implications of that are a lot deeper than people realize, man. And your energy can get tangled in that. I mean, obviously, your value, your worth, all type of things, man. And your priorities become shaped around that. And it's all comes back to the reality that you didn't realize that you're your own entity, and you're not an entity of, a corporation or right. a government or any of it. Though. And these are not the things that we learn in, the classic programs that we have running through this land. And those programs are really designed to block us from learning these things. For me, I didn't really go digging for things. It's like, again, man, the synchronicity, I align where I need to align, and I meet the people that I need to meet that are able to put the right pieces into my story that I'm carving of life. And
right.
I came across some special people over the past few years that really helped me cultivate a lot of this album that I just dropped, and Coattails, and just to even be thinking on that level, like. I got a nice circle of people around me here in Pittsburgh that they really help keep the light illuminated and spread throughout. And I think that Pittsburgh is a special place that resonates across this world in a way that people don't really know or understand. So to be part of that and have these people around me, like, it's just really something that I appreciate, man. And I can tell that it's reflected in my art. Even shout out to Jay Sands, by the way, too, while we on the subject of Pittsburgh and the people around here.
Absolutely.
And the inspiration. Jay Sands is really like, he's like the OG of this whole shit, man. I remember being high school. Jay Sands was a little bit older than me, but high school, Cass was already rocking with Lone Catalyst way back, man. And to come to this point, 20, 25 years later, man, and be like doing shit with Jay Sands, when I was just like a listener at that point, but doing shit with Jay Sands on a level to where it's like mutually respected and actually a powerful song, everything we've done.
Yeah.
Like it's beyond my interpretation at points, man. It's just some things are just meant to be, and it's special. But I don't mean to get into a tangent, but I just want to give a shout out to Jay Sands, man.
No,
he's been a trailblazer of the lane that I'm in, and
yeah, and still out here supporting folks too, right?
We fuck with Sands heavy, man,
and he's still nice with it though.
Absolutely.
Contributor can still do.
Yo, Hubs, we're having a hard time hearing you. I don't know if your mic's jostled around.
Do you hear me?
There we go.
Yeah. All right, word.
Yeah.
No, I was just saying he's still dope. So it's like he's contributing and he's supporting. So that's just like that's all you can ask for OGs, bro. Like that is like pivotal energy that is needed, especially in a place like Pittsburgh. And he's not even in Pittsburgh. Like, he's all the way down in Baltimore.
Right.
But it's like he's here in spirit. He's here, and we put our minds together and done some special things to start this year off, man.
Dope.
Yeah, man. Meeks, did you have something you wanted to ask? I felt like I ran over you there.
I was just following everything he was talking about with Coattails and things like that. And yeah, and that is an interesting perspective when you start thinking of the U.S. Government and everything involved as a corporate entity. That kind of shifts your thoughts on some things. So big ups to you for like kind of putting two and two together on that and kind of putting it out there to the masses.
Yeah, man. I felt like people, this is the thing for me, man. Like people don't talk about these things. Now people, of course, do talk about these things in many different metaphorical ways. I think the 80s rap, the 80s hip hop was definitely getting at a lot of these topics.
For sure.
Them dudes were superheroes of creativity. So it would still like slip past. Like I felt like we hit a moment of time where the confusion was so crazy out here, where I had to just be like bold with it. Like, you know what I'm saying? And at this specific time that we're in, I had to just like spell certain shit out. But then, with love, like I'm not doing it in a hostile way. I'm not doing it to be, extreme or anything like that. I'm not doing it to disrespect. It's all in the spirit of love, so that everybody can rise into their truths, man, beyond like the fog of the programming. A lot of this programming is collapsing anyway. It's like, this is your time to understand what the hell's going on out here. Like, it's not time to be confused anymore. It's just time to actualize what the truth is, like, and love each other and work together in the way that we're supposed to work together. Like, but the confusion is it's gotten crazy out here, man. And
no doubt.
I don't know. I just had to like play that vessel role for people, man. Like, I've always kind of been like that. My career before, like, I got serious with rap, I always worked with the children, and I was a counselor, academic counselor, things like that. I'm always, my focus is always about pouring back to the seas, man. Like, I'm a family guy. Shout out to my sons. That's just what it's all about. Like, we gotta lift the veil, yo. Like, the veil is too thick anymore. Like, people gonna end up fucking burning this whole shit up. Like it don't gotta be like that.
No doubt.
Now, Hubs, let me ask you this: is it true that this is your 11th project?
So technically, it's my 12th project. If I include something that nobody has ever heard, which I'm not even gonna, it's such a jewel that, like, I'm not even gonna elaborate on it though. People might hear it at another time, but if I include that, then it's 12. But beyond that, as far as like what y'all have seen, it's been my 11th joint. A couple of those were mixtapes, so a lot of people aren't even familiar with a lot of my early shit. As far as albums, I've done, my first official album was with Jit Beats, the Peace of Mind album in 2014. We dropped that right in the same month.
I think we played a joint off that Hubs, like early on in like episode 2 when we started the show in 2015.
Word. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Let's see. What was the, oh gosh, I'd have to look it up. I can't remember the name of the record. Anyway.
2015, you said?
Yeah, 2015. Let me see if I can find it. I love doing shit like this. Hold on one second.
Hubs, while he's doing everything. What we talking about 12 projects spanning a course of how many years?
So the 11 that y'all heard was since 2011. But the span of, if I take it to 12, are we going all the way back to high school years? I was always an MC, but I was a jock too, as well. I was telling my man, shout out Flip the Script Radio, I was telling C Reality, like, I grew up playing sports, but the reality is, like, I'm really an artist, and I always was an artist, and I probably fucked up my artist gift playing sports, but I was just nice at sports because I was tall and, like, I love sports too, but, like, I'm an artist at the core, and, like, that was already peaking out when I was back in middle school, high school ages. I just never took it seriously until I put those albums out. Like, I took it seriously as a listener and as a, appreciator of hip hop, but I didn't answer the call of my gift and my contribution to this culture until 2000. It was 2011, But as far as like my first album, once again, that y'all have got really tapped into will be the Jit Beats joint.
It was Lost Souls, with Chris Rivers.
7 years ago.
Yeah, Lost Souls with Chris Rivers. We played that joint on episode 2.
That's that's One MT's track.
Oh, okay.
That's One MT's track.
Okay,
that wasn't. I did a track called Better Souls on Peace of Mind.
Okay, gotcha.
But the joint with Chris Rivers, Lost Souls was with Chris Rivers. I was on One MT. That was Jit's homeboy from Staten Island. He was working on some shit. He had crazy features on that album, and it was it was a dope album. Shout out to One MT, but they threw me on that joint. And
gotcha.
That's, me and Jit did a lot of shit over 7 years, man. And I just want to give a shout out to him as well, man. Like, it's been a hell of a journey, man, that brought me to a great place.
You know what's ill?
I'm grateful for that whole period of time.
Episode 2 was actually recorded January 11th, 2015. So we're actually on the 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 11, 6. We're on the 6th anniversary of us playing that record on episode 2. That's kind of wild. Anyway,
that is
One MT. See, that's what One MT was putting them. One MT put out a bunch of shit and then just disappeared. Like, he was putting out crazy records. Yo. He had like fucking. I think he had an Inspector Deck joint he put out. But like, that's just something I fell into at that point in time. You know what I'm saying? And they just added me as like, yo, we want you to hop on this Chris Rivers joint. And so, you know, that was fresh. That was a few years back, man. And shout out to Jit and shout out to 1MT for having me be a part of that, man.
No doubt.
That was love. Yeah. That was love. Shout out to Chris Rivers. I ended up meeting him when I went up to NYC at the Delancey. Shout out to Doc Ock while we talk about the Delancey.
No doubt.
But yeah, I met Chris Rivers. It was after I want to say it was the anniversary of Big Pun's. It was a Big Pun anniversary, and it was at the Delancey. I had met him.
Oh, wow.
The crazy thing, we had recorded that track. Obviously, like a lot of these tracks these days get recorded without you even like meeting people.
Sure,
you know, shit gets sent around and all that. So like, I hadn't even met him. So I saw him, and I was like, "Yo, you know, we have a track together." Like, yeah, he didn't even like realize it though.
Oh wow!
I'm like, "Yo, I'm Hubs." Like, he's like, "Oh shit!" Like, okay. And it's just like, damn, man, I'm glad it came full circle where I could at least, like,
yeah, that's it.
You know what I'm saying? Slap palms with them and give respect. You know what I'm saying? Rest in peace to Pun.
So back to the imagery real quick, Hubs, because we were talking about the Coattails cover, and then you and Meeks were talking about the cover to the album before we actually hit record on the interview. So tell us about the cover of the album.
So the cover of the album, it features a man holding the Pittsburgh police accountable to the activity that they had imposed on him that day. So what you see basically is a man upholding his rights, his constitutional rights, per his nationality and not his constructed reality, you know, which would be things like your race and whatnot. So this world operates on nations. Look. That's why there's a United Nations. And if you go to the United Nations, you're not going to find things that are just colors. What you find there are nations. So when it comes to you representing yourself, it's important that you know there's national representation of you. Otherwise, you could very easily end up in a corporate reality that you don't want to be in that could compromise your humanity. So what we see here in this picture is just a man upholding his nationality, which is kind of seen as against the norm because people of his descent, or I guess we want to say his hue, his color, as we would say in this land, quote unquote, you don't typically see them upholding their nationality in such a way, or whatever their nationality may be. What we usually see is people standing behind a construct that has been very normalized into our culture, into our political atmosphere, and this entire climate of this land. And because of that, it leads to situations such as this, where the guy in the truck would have come out on the wrong side, perhaps, of this situation, and essentially have been an accomplice to what is not ethical, and it's actually a terroristic act on humanity. When you're trying to rob people of their rights and you're operating under the color of law, which is something that's punishable by death. I mean, these are all just legal things that we don't read and we usually don't know. But like the color of law is just like, you know, you put people into constructed realities, and then there's things that correspond to those constructed realities. And the way this system's coded is, you know, those constructed realities can have you in a place where your basic humanity and your rights, your constitutional rights, are compromised. So where you don't have a leg to stand on when you have people terroristically approaching you, right, to, you know, tell you that you've done something wrong that may not even be wrong. You know what I mean? But it's wrong under the color of law. But it's maybe not wrong under the Constitution, which these people have taken an oath to. They know they took an oath to these things. So it's not, again, I'm not extreme to speak these things or to talk about it openly, because they openly took an oath to these realities. We just did not openly learn these realities because a lot of us went to public schools, which is a program. You know, it's a wash. So like, I come into a lot of these realities, and I felt the need to share it with people because I see a lot of these children out here getting killed, and I see a lot of violence and carnal acts on behalf of terroristic people that are representing terroristic philosophies and carrying a terroristic spirit to uphold terroristic corporate activity that has run its course on this land, man. And it did not begin this way. And I think that this come back to a point where it's going to be how it began, which was peace and harmony, love, friendship, all those things. And it's a treaty-based ideology. It's not a, let's play magic tricks and keep people away from the truth so we can rob them of their energy and take their rights because, we can't find our own or something. Like, nah, that's not how life is set up. Like, again, what did I say at the beginning of this? We're all our own entities. So if we're our own entities, why the hell would you need to steal someone else's energy? Why the hell would you need to surrender your energy to someone else? That doesn't go with the fact of being your own entity. So I just wanted to highlight that in creative form on this cover and then in 12 tracks on the album. And that's, I'll just leave it at that. I hope that people can gather and find their research from what I've laid in a very, very basic form. I didn't have to get too deep with it, but I feel like I gave people enough to where now they could go do their own research without me having to spell it out much further. You know what I'm saying?
Now, Hubs, I kind of know the backstory on this image, and speaking to you briefly about it before we started recording, it turns out that that's a family member of yours. Do you know the full story behind this? Because I saw the video footage of this incident, and it ended with him leaving the police, cutting a corner or two, and the police following in tow. And that's how the footage ends. Do you know the entire story behind this?
I didn't see the footage end like that. I saw him drive off and say, they knew that shit. And that's what ended my album.
Okay.
And then he bent the corner and the cops were standing there outside of their cars.
Okay.
I didn't see anything on the footage that showed them trailing him or anything of that nature.
Okay, gotcha.
As far as the story and the family member part of it, it's something that came a part of the poetry of me creating this album. It's something that just like came. It's not even. So let me hit you with this. So my father passed away. Rest in peace to my father.
Word.
This was, we're going up about 10 years ago. This is the 10th year actually. So, before my father passed away, he told me, he said, you need to get close to your family on my side. I'm not always going to be here. There's people that you need to connect yourself to, when I'm not around. He wasn't specific about anything. He didn't say, you need to go meet this person or that person. He just said, you just need to branch out and meet your family, man. And, because I'm not going to always be here, man. You got a bunch of family and, you don't have a lot in Pittsburgh. So meet your family that's out of Pittsburgh, man. And this is, the guy in the picture is from Johnstown, PA. He grew up in Johnstown, PA and has ties to Johnstown, PA. So that is how my father would have connections to him. So what happened was my dad tells me that, that's something that just stayed in the pocket of my mind over the years. And so as I'm studying that video, which I randomly came across, and it sparked a whole rabbit hole of thought for me, I'm looking at it as, this is just a random guy at that point. You know what I'm saying? I don't know that it's my family at all. And I'm studying what the hell he's talking about because I'm like, I need answers to that. Because I know when these cops pull me over, I'm always getting fucked with. So how did this dude talk bad to him for like 15 minutes, 16, whatever it was, and then drive off and say they knew that shit and they ain't do shit? I said there has to be answers to that. So I need to know those answers. So what it did for me is it took me down a rabbit hole. I started reading a lot of congressional documents, things that you're just not going to read in school, and things that have been put into the magic trick of this corporate reality that people have been put in and have surrendered themselves to, that I hopped out of. But again, it was really the symbolism of the act. Like the picture is a symbolism of the act itself, of being bold enough to let your nuts hang on your truth. Whether they gonna come trail you later or try to still be on your nuts later and trail you down the block, that's not relevant. I don't know how it ended though. But what I saw in that video was a man saying, nah, this is my truth. I know you want me to be this truth, but here's my truth. And I'll die for my truth and you can kiss my ass. That is enough to be represented in art for me because that's bold and it's true. It's not being weak and saying, I'm somebody else's entity or I'm under someone else's entity. Nah, like I represented the boldness of somebody just doing the act. And then through all that process, I post a picture of the cover. My cousin comes on my Facebook post. Shout out to my cousin Shelton Ware. This is my cousin. Comes on my post. He says, yo, that's cousin Billy right there.
Oh my God.
He said, you know, that's Cousin Billy, cuz, right? It's Cousin Billy. I said, Cousin Billy? What? He said, bro, that's our cousin. He said, ask Cousin Earl. Shout out to my Cousin Earl, too. He said, ask Cousin Earl. He'll tell you all about it. Now, Cousin Earl is who helped carry my father's casket. You know what I'm saying? While my dad told me, yo, get in touch with your family. Cousin Earl was like, yo, he's like the muscle. You know what I'm saying? And Cousin Earl was on some, he said, yo, call Cousin Earl. He'll tell you. And once I saw that, I said, yo, this is surreal and this is meant to be. And at that point, I hadn't even had this as my cover. This was just my Facebook profile. This is the shit y'all looking at right now because I logged in through Facebook. That's not even my cover that you're looking at because it would have a parental advisory sticker on it. This is just my Facebook cover that I made early in 2020. I just put it early. I didn't even know. I put this on there and he's like, yo, that's Cousin Billy. So I'll give you his number. Yada, yada.
That's crazy.
Meanwhile, I'm fighting. Meanwhile, I'm in the middle of this fake ass case at the time. You know what I'm saying? At the time, same type of shit, some fake driving bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So I'm reading all this. I'm like, yo, I need to learn this shit because I'm not falling to this fake shit. So like I see the video and I'm like, all right, this is inspiring me. I put the picture up. My cousin, yo, that's our cousin. I'll give you his number. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, yo, I don't even need to talk to him though. This is poetical. It's meant to be. I already know that right at this point. I don't need to talk to him. I have his phone number. And you know what I'm saying? But it's not, I don't need to even be on some like, yo, my family. Like at the end of the day, he just for me represents what my father told me. He said, yo, get close to your family. I got close to somebody without even meeting them, man. And it was all meant to be. And he anchored me into what I needed to be anchored into to pull me out of a lot of fog that was stirred around me. And to do it artistically through my gift, it's just always like poetic justice for me. And it's just done with love. Like it's not done in any type of spite or any type of anything, man. But just to bring it back to what you were saying, man, like I never followed up to know. I know that somebody told me today, actually, that there's another video of him talking about that incident that's on YouTube. I haven't seen that video. But from what I saw, I based all my artistic representation on what I saw in that video. And I seen him filling the block and nobody did anything. So I left it at that. And even if they went after him and got him, it doesn't matter to me because I saw a man for, over 20 minutes upholding his truth and people honoring whatever he's saying and not pulling him out of his car and perhaps shooting him and putting a bullet in his chest like they're doing to these little children out here who don't know no better. I didn't see that happen though. So that was enough to inspire me.
That's a crazy story.
I also didn't see a car getting towed. I didn't see his car, I didn't see it towed in a bit. I know when I get pulled over, there's no time to talk about anything. When I used to get pulled over like that, there's no time to talk. You don't have a license, boom, you're towed, blah, blah, blah. We take your license plate, done. Right. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't see any of that, though. And it was a long period of time where you're not seeing that. So there's enough to see right there that there got to be some facts in what this man's talking about, though. Or else he would have just got his plate pulled off, or he got his shit towed, he would have got pulled out. Or again, he might have got his head blown off. Like, kids are getting their head blown off with a fucking super soaker, though. So what might happen when you talking that shit to them and you holding up congressional documents that they took an oath to right in their face?
Right.
Then like, yo, they can't do nothing though, or they would have blown his fucking head off though. You think they didn't want to eat his face? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Of course they wanted.
They definitely did.
So that was enough to inspire me. That was enough to inspire me, yo, like towards light, like, and just like a boldly to light. It didn't make me angry. Like it was like a hopeful thing. Like I just watched it and it was like, yo, there's answers in this, man. And it don't even matter like who is wrong, yo. Like this is answers that's gonna rise everybody out of the fog, yo. Like people who've been relying on fog just to feel like leveraged. Like, yo, I don't want to see anyone living like that. No matter what shade, color, like it doesn't have to be that way. Like we are connected to like a divine synchronicity of things. Like we don't have to rely on constructed realities on behalf of some rich pigs that we don't even know who can give a fuck about any of us. Like that's where it just doesn't make sense to me. And I feel like I have to represent art in a creative, bold way. And that's just where it came from me. Like, you know what I'm saying? I know if that man would have been saying, hey, yeah, I'm a constructed reality here today, officer. He would have got pulled out of his fucking truck and they would have said, hey, you don't have a license, which is fake. And they would have fucking put him in jail. I didn't see any of that, though, on the video.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone saw that because that's not what was in the video.
Right.
End of the day.
How'd you run across that video, Meeks? You remember?
I be on World Star, man. It it ain't a whole lot of shit, that I ain't about to say I was on some secret website with just that type of content.
I only seen the YouTube one view. I ain't see the World Star. I only seen a YouTube video.
But see, the World Star video might have been a different cut, because like I said, I saw him pull off from him, cut the corner, and they kind of milled around for a second, but then off the camera, you could hear somebody say, "Well, let's just follow him to his house," or some shit like that. So that's why I was wondering, if the rest of the story ever got to you or not. But like I said, it was just enough. Just like you said, it was just dope to see him school them the way that he did, and they standing there looking dumb. And at the end of it, he pulls away. No harm, no foul. And let me say, hopefully they went on about their business, man.
And let me say too, there is an honorable way to uphold your rights as well. So it doesn't always have to come to screaming and swearing and being on those levels. I don't actually, when it comes to how I would handle myself, I wouldn't. I think everyone has their own style.
Oh, we lost you, Hubs.
You hear me?
Yeah, no, I can. Yeah, I think your mic was. Yeah.
All right, my bad. But for me, it's like I feel like everyone has their own style, and for me, I'm always about like being honorable to what we're connected to, and if that includes people that hate my guts, I mean, it doesn't matter. It's still a part of what I'm connected to, so I have to give them love. So I have to do everything in love, though, but not in a way that's going to compromise myself or my rights, because I have children that I have to take care of, and I don't think that they would do well with me out here serving. I wouldn't serve them well walking around with compromised rights. That could compromise their life.
Right.
That's not what I'm here to do. That's not what I'm here to do on this earth, or as their father, or on behalf of any of my family, like the people that rely on me.
Yep.
I got to be my full, whole self. But I would say, man, like as far as that video, again, what I really want to be highlighted is not that specific case or instance. I want people to take the pieces of what they saw in that and perhaps go find other cases, though, because there's probably there's tons of other case studies that are of the same nature and the same content as that video that you can go read and see the outcomes of those cases, though. And then you can look at why was that the outcome? Why couldn't they arrest them? What is this? What is all these things? So, because guess what? The news is never going to tell you the things. So
no doubt, absolutely.
The average person doesn't fucking know, and the schools are not going to tell you. So it's like, it's up to me, I feel, and other artists, man, to give people the vines, man, like to get to these answers, though. But in a way that's, again, man, with love. Like it's a very delicate thing. Like you don't want to cause chaos. You don't want to do things in a way that's putting false truths out. Anything like that. You know what I mean? You don't want to mislead people. Any of that. So, at the end of the day, man, like that was my truth that I put out on what I gathered through that whole journey of being inspired by not only that video, but all the pain that I've endured in my life prior to seeing that video. When you put those two inspirations together, you get the L. Ron Hubbs project. And that's just where I left it off at. You know what I'm saying? And that's just what it is.
Hubbs, what's next, man?
That's a crazy story.
The L. Ron Hubbs dropped November.
Yeah. That's
2020. What's up for this year? What's your plans?
Man, so right now, yo, like I dipped out. Like I said on Morpheus, yo, like I swoop in, I do what I gotta do, then I dip out. You know what I'm saying? When I dip out, that's when I go back to the drawing board on whatever. And I get those signs naturally. I don't sit around and say, yo, I gotta keep up with the game. You know what I'm saying? So-and-so just try. I gotta like I don't that's matrix shit for me. So for me, it's like I'm gonna sit now and I'm gonna wait for the next inspiration. Which may not come. If this could be a rap. You know what I'm saying? And it could be that. It could not be. I don't know. It could be, maybe I'll write a book next. Maybe I'll make a movie. Who knows? But I know that I'll get the signal myself. And I care about y'all enough to move based on what comes to me in that way. Instead of, moving as a rapper or some shit.
Forcing it.
Just trying to.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like I have enough like consideration for the people that listen to me and support me and all that, to where I like to put things out in the most authentic way possible. I feel like that creates better synchronicity with the way that these projects roll out. I feel like it touches people's spirit in a different, in the way that it's intended. And ultimately, it keeps me in the proper driver's seat of my life, man. Like, it's just me following what I believe to be purpose and what I see as purpose, based on what crosses my path of inspiration, man, what comes to me. So I'm gonna just sit on it, man, and see what's next. I can't even answer that, but for now, I'm gonna just keep promoting the L. Ron joint. We're gonna put some videos out. That's what's immediate.
All
Just
right.
to get the proper visuals behind a lot of these tracks. I think that will illuminate the truths of these topics a little harder. We're gonna take it to that, man. You know what I'm saying? And we got the merch still popping. Everybody check out the Modern Vintage Pittsburgh.
Yeah, talk about that real quick, Hubs. I was going to ask you about that. I didn't want to lead that out before we bounce tonight. Talk to us about the clothing.
Yeah. Modern Vintage Pittsburgh. That stems off the first, my first tape I ever put out was called Modern Vintage. Then I ended up doing 3 of them. I did Modern Vintage 3. That was right after I did Peace of Mind with Jit Beats. And so, I had my son on the cover with my jersey with the 21 on it, Penn Hills. You know what I'm saying? I dropped that. And then, from there, I said, you know what? Maybe I need to brand this. Like, people in Pittsburgh really love the Modern Vintage imprint. Like, they really took well to that. And I felt like I didn't want to make any more. I don't want to go, I got Modern Vintage part 8, 9. I feel like it gets corny after a while. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to leave it at 3. Then I'm going to brand it, though. And so what is Modern Vintage? Again, it's like, it's more than just an album, though. Like, it's a concept. It's an idea. So it can be branded into things that can multiply and still represent modern vintage in other forms. So that's really what I created. And through that, I funnel out t-shirts, I funnel out the hoodies. I want to put this, I kind of put this stamp over my music. As I'm learning more about representing myself in the proper entity and under the musical things as well. I want that to kind of umbrella that. As I kind of double back and collect a lot of what is owed on a lot of the projects and things I put out, just in casual artistry, just throwing things out over the years, not being business minded about it. But just learning, man, and looking at dudes like Jay Sands, who again laid the groundwork for even that type of perspective. Like, he had his own shit way back. So like, it's just me moving into that type of perspective with my artistry. So everything I do creatively will come under that umbrella. And so for now, it's just mainly been a lot of hoodies and shirts that I try to really put these messages through and illuminate it in a whole other way, where I don't have to use colors and imagery and designs, man, and still get the same message. Like, my name Hubs, man, is it's interesting, man. As I grow, I start to learn more symbolism that I've even been representing myself. Like, we learn more of ourselves and what we've been doing when we look with the 2020 hindsight. It's interesting, man. And what I've found, man, and what I've come to see is that, Hubs, it's bigger than just like my name. It's bigger than my last name. It's bigger than a rap name. It's like, I'm like a hub, man. I'm a hub because I could give you the same energy any type of way that you need it to be, delivered. I got a wide variety of ways that you're going to get the same exact energy, because it's just a hub of the same energy, and that energy is beyond me. It's not me. The glory is always above to that energy. So through that energy, I have multi-talents that I funnel that through, and I'll just become a hub of it. So that we just stamped that as hubs, man. That's my creative representation. And then Modern Vintage, it's just the umbrella that I work under. You know what I'm saying? And there's just symbolism within that as well, that I just like to, stamp into the art, man. So on behalf of everybody who did it before us, man, we're doing it in the present at all times because that's all we got. But there's people that laid groundwork. There's people that laid groundwork before us. So I always feel like I'm a representation of that. I'm always a representation of the now plus the things that led to this stuff. Because everything is happening right now anyway. You know what I'm saying? So you're always in that, but you're always going to be inspired by, things that you learned and what you thought was essentially, the past. But we're all here at all times right now. So
Yeah, I love
That's
the
how it
gear.
all comes together.
I love the gear, Hubs.
Real dope.
I love it. I sent Meeks that Steel-matic joint that you dropped.
Yeah.
That shit was hard.
I gotta get y'all some gear, man.
love
The
that
Steel-matic joint, man. That. Hey, shout out to my man Counts, man. Everybody. Matter of fact, I was gonna say go follow him. He probably like to lay low, but just shout out to my man Counts, man. We come from the same land of Pittsburgh, inside of Pittsburgh, and we put our creative ideas together, and it turns into something that's bigger than both of us, man.
That's dope. Word.
Real dope.
Well, Hubs, can you tell everybody where they can go? Check the gear. Where they can go check the music. The best place that they can go support you, man. That'd be dope. And we'll wrap it up like that and get into some joints on episode 277.
So Instagram is It's Hubs, ITSHUBBS. Twitter, same thing. It's Hubs. My Facebook.
We're losing you, dude. We're losing you. I don't want people to miss this.
It's every time I look over that way. It's Hubs on Twitter and Instagram, ITSHUBBS.
Okay.
And then on Facebook, I got a group called Hubs on Facebook. It's a group, but I use it as a page. Then I got my personal page, which is Elron Hubs right now. It may change to something else because we never stamping nothing. But Elron Hubs is what it's currently at. And then SoundCloud, It's Hubs. I don't really use that. But then my Bandcamp is where a lot of my shit is at also right now. And that's just Hubs on Bandcamp. So I got probably 7 projects on my Bandcamp. Got a couple joints on Apple Music.
Yeah.
So you could check it anywhere. I'm gonna put it all on a website soon. We're gonna have a Modern Vintage official website where I'm gonna have access to everything. So just stay in tune mainly right now with the Twitter and the Instagram, and you'll see, where everything will come together at.
Websites are coming back, dude.
You have to do it that way. Again, I mean, we got to operate as entities, man.
Yeah.
And I think all that social media shit, man, you put too much of yourself into it and you get sucked up into other entities, man. And that's not what you want to do at all.
And not even the entities that you want to see because they're programming the shit for you. That's, you don't have a choice like when you're looking through that shit. I mean, it's fucking.
That's what I'm saying.
Anyway. I'm with you on that.
It's bad. It's bad, yo. It's bad. Like you always gonna have your free will, but you ain't supposed to use your free will to be a fool either. Like, you know what I mean?
Not at all.
And you talk about something that's in the early stages of crumbling. Is that social media shit, man? Like we're
wicked, bro.
Yeah, man.
Shit is wicked, yo. Shit is mad. Shit is super wicked. Like there's a lot of wickedness out here right now, but that shit is where all the confusion is, man. It's a lot of confusion in the music game right now too, but I feel like this underground scene can really pivot things back. Like it gets dark at points, man, where it's like, damn, is this hip hop still but I don't know. I think that there's enough light in it to still uphold and really turn this shit all the way back to, you know what I mean? Like I want that 88 feel again, man. I was listening to 88 the other day. That shit fucking reset my whole life. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want that feel back. I think that we headed back to that.
It would be nice.
Let's hope so. Hubs, thank you, brother, man. This has been a real pleasure, dude.
I appreciate y'all having me, man. Real rap. It's always good to get an opportunity to speak some light, some love, man. Put the good vibes out, man. I really appreciate y'all tapping into my music and my artistry, man. Like, I come from a small town. Pittsburgh's not really known for a lot of that. Again, the trailblazers like Jay Sins make that possible. But, I really just appreciate just being a part of it, yo.
When you get inspired again, we'll talk again. We'll come back to the table and discuss that inspiration too.
Yo, my next venture, it's just gonna arrive at you. You're gonna be like, yo, I remember I asked Hubs what he was doing next. Oh shit, now I see what's next. All right, it's just gonna be understood. And then we'll revisit it after it's already been delivered. Like
that is.
I mean,
I know there's something coming. I'm just not going to press you for it. It'll be here. It'll be here. So,
much love, y'all.
Yeah, absolutely.
Love, straight up.
Absolutely.
We appreciate you, Hubs.
Yes,
Stay
sir.
up, brother.
Hubs, thank you, my man.
Up, yo. I'm gonna be down in Atlanta too. I'm gonna come check y'all. If I come down, to Atlanta this, probably around this spring. I'm gonna come check y'all.
We were talking about that this time last year. Yeah, right before the anniversary show, we were talking about that, and then COVID showed up, and everything went fucking sideways.
Right. That is right. Yo, Pablo, I was going to see Pablo. Yeah, that's the dude on 2/5. So maybe I'll come up there and catch up with y'all. I'll bring my man Pop. We'll do that.
Yeah, we got to connect with your Atlanta folks down here, man, for sure.
Word up.
Thank you, my brother.
Thanks for having me, y'all.
Yes, sir.
All right, take care, man.
Peace.
Enjoy the rest of the evening.
Yes, sir.
Right, peace.
Salute.
Peace.
All right, Meeks. Wow, that's
man.
That's one for your ass right there.
Yeah, that was a good one, man. There's a lot of ground we covered there, man. Some good shit we talked about. So
you fucked me up though, knowing the album cover. Like that threw me for a loop.
Yeah, man. Like I said, man, World Star got some shit. It ain't all about big booty videos and stupid shit. Every now and then they have some legitimate, footage of some things that you really want to see and that you're interested in and stuff like that. So
for sure.
And to be honest with you, I continue to fuck with World Star for that reason alone, just because I know what they're kind of known for, but it's the smaller things, it's the videos that they post that don't get a lot of plays. That's what you really need to be checking them out for. So.
No doubt.
Yeah.
All right, Elron Hubs, it's out everywhere. Go check it if you haven't. We'll get into some joints on episode 277. Go back and check the catalog. It's tremendous. And it's the Guard, y'all. Yeah, every week. Twice a week.
Twice a week, man.
Doe and
Southern
Meeks.
Vangard Radio.
Yeah. We out.